Spoilers. A quick video on intercepts. Of course, with definition, if I have my plane, the XY plane, obviously any point that hits here, the x-axis, is called, of course, the x-intercept. Likewise, any point that crosses here the y-axis is called the, let's see, the y-intercept. Okay? What is so unique about those 2 points? Very straightforward. Notice that the value of y at the x-intercept is always 0. So how do I find the x-intercept? We always make y equals 0. Likewise, how do I find the y-intercept? Notice that the value here in x is always 0. So here, how do I find the y-intercept? We always make x equals 0. By the way, the coordinates of any x-intercept will be obviously x comma 0. When y equals 0, x equals whatever. Here, the coordinates will be 0 comma y, whatever number we get. So let's go ahead and do a couple of examples. Remember, how do I find the y-intercept? We always make x equals 0. How do I find the y-intercept? We always make the x equals 0. I think I said the same thing. So let's try a couple of examples. What about if we have the following equation? Example number 1. What if I have 2x minus 5y equals 10? Example number 2, if I have x minus 7y equals 7. Next example, there's in a few. Okay, so again, we need to find the x-intercept. These are lines. The degree here is 1, degree here is 1, so we'll have y-intercept max of each. So the x-intercept, and then we're going to find the y-intercept. Oops, that's so. I like to repeat myself. The x-intercept, we make y equals 0. For the y-intercept, we make x equals 0. So let me rewrite the equation. 2x minus 5y equals 10. Here we're going to force y to be 0. So I have 2x minus 5 times whatever equals 10. We make y equals 0. Therefore, I have 2x equals 10 divided by 2. X equals 5. Therefore, my intercept will be 5, 0. We do similar process for the y-intercept, but this time we make x equals 0. So now we force x to be 0. 2 times 0, of course, is 0. So negative 5y equals 10 divided by negative 5. Y equals negative 2. Therefore, my intercept will be 0, negative 2. And that will be it. I'm going to do something bad here. If I were to graph this equation, we say that we are going to hit the x-axis somewhere here at 5, the y-axis somewhere at negative 2. So if I were to connect these two lines, I mean to those 2 points, that would be my line. X-intercept 5, 0, y-intercept 0, negative 2. Okay, let's try a second example. Very similar. So we're going to have again the x-intercept, the y-intercept. I'm going to try different this time. Hopefully, you're very visual. So how do I find the x-intercept? We make y equals 0. Let's try it for this last time. Y equals 0, x equals 0. Notice, folks, that now we are going to make y equals 0. So let's see if we can do this. So this puppy goes away. So what do I have? X minus 0 equals 7. Therefore, x equals 7. In other words, x equals 7. Therefore, we have 7, 0. For the other one, we make x equals 0, so we end up with 0 minus 7y equals 7. If, in other words, 7, we divide by negative 7. So we divide by negative 7. Sorry about that. If we were to divide by negative 7, we have the y equals negative 1. So the coordinates will be 0, negative 1. Very similar to the other one. If I have, I should make it positive, 7, 0, so I'm going to hit the x-axis at 7 here, and the y at negative 1. So that would be the graph. Okay, let's try 2 more examples. Let's continue with these 2 examples. X plus 3 half y equals 9. Again, find the x-intercept y equals 0, y-intercept x equals 0. So here, what do? We force y to be 0. So of course, we have x equals 9. Or 9, 0. Here we force y to be 0. So we have 3 half y equals 9. And now we have fractions. If we do it in 2 steps or 1 step, but in 2 steps, if we have fractions, always multiply by the least common denominator, in this case 2, both sides. But sometimes we will see that when we have just a simple fraction like that, we can multiply by the reciprocal, which is the same time multiply by the LCD and then divide. So my reciprocal will be here 2 over 3. 2 over 3, and the 9 is over 1. Okay, so what do I have? Here we have 1y, which is simply y, equals 9 times 2, that's 18. 1 times 3, 3. 18 divided by 3, 6. Or we can do 9 divided by 3 is 3 times 2, 6. Y equals 6. In other words, with x equals 0, y equals 6. See if we can squeeze it here. So we say that we're going to hit the x-axis at 9. Obviously, this is not at scale here, 9. And the y at 6. So somewhere here, this will be your line. Okay, one more example. Here we have 2x plus y equals 0. When I force y equals 0, we have 2x equals 0. Therefore, x equals 0. You divide by 2, so x equals 0. So 0, 0, the origin is your x and the y-intercept. Notice that we are done. Even if we do it the other way around, when x equals 0 plus y equals 0. The origin is part of the graph. So the only thing we know is that the origin belongs to the graph. So now we need to find another point if we were going to draw a line. Okay. Let's do 2 more examples. Let's take these 2 examples. So we have y equals x squared minus 9. So let's find the x-intercepts and the y-intercept. Yeah, of course, we make x equals 0, so we have y equals 0 squared minus 9, which is negative 9. Therefore, 0, negative 9. When x equals 0, you have negative 9. Now, when y equals 0, what do we have? For the x-intercept, of course, y equals 0, we have 0 equal x squared minus 9. How do we solve this? Hopefully, we know that we could factor this one. This is a difference of squares. So we can factor this guy at x plus 3 times x minus 3 equals 0. Product two things equals 0. That means that each of the factors could be 0. So x plus 3 equals 0, or x minus 3 equals 0. Therefore, x equals negative 3, or x equals 3. In this case, we found 2 x-intercepts. What are the x-intercepts? Negative 3, 0, and 3,0. Okay, so what are we saying? That we're going to hit the y-axis at -9, so we're done here. And we're going to hit the x-axis in two places, at -3, give or take here, and 3 here. We learned that this is it's called the parabola. But the important thing is that these are my 3x, my 2x intercept and my y intercept. What if I have this? X equals y squared minus 9. Okay, so let's go ahead and find, what do I do? What do I do? Let's find the x-intercepts and the y-intercept. So with the x-intercept, we make it x equals 0. And here for the y-intercept, oh my God, we make, for the x-intercept, we make y equals 0. Let me just put this way. For the x-intercept, y equals 0, which is, of course, x equals -9. And what am I doing? For the y-intercept, x equals 0, so we have 0 equals y squared minus 9. Okay. So how do I solve this? Again, we can factor difference of squares, so this would be 0 equals y plus 3, y minus 3, so y plus 3 equals 0, y equals -3, y minus 3 equals 0, y equals 3. So we have two y-intercepts, namely 0, -3 and 0, 3. So the graph of this one will look like, well, here will be -9, -9, is over here. And then what do I have? We have two y-intercepts. You're going to hit the y-axis, give or take, at 0, 3 and 0, -3. So the graph will look like that. Okay. So if you notice, folks, it's always the same. How do I find the x-intercept? We always make y equals 0. The y-intercept, we make x equals 0. Thank you.